It was as if the world turned upside down overnight. Gender roles were suddenly reversed. In this new reality, women now lift bricks and cement at construction sites, while men are pursued instead of being the pursuers. One man stands out as the only Sigma male, and all the women are fighting for his attention. Meanwhile, a girl sits on top of a boy while smoking. The boy slowly wakes up, feeling groggy and confused. The woman above him studies his face, then leans closer with a teasing laugh, noting that he's finally awake. Shocked, the boy screams, trying to figure out where he is and what situation he's in. Panic hits him, and he quickly jumps out of bed. Mockingly, the girl asks if the drug's effect has already worn off. She adds that people are much more interesting once they're awake. Gradually, the boy starts piecing things together. Memories flood back, and he realizes he has been reincarnated. 300 years ago, he accidentally entered the fairy world on Mount Qingshan, where his cultivation journey began. For centuries, he trained relentlessly, mastering sword cultivation through constant practice and study. Now, he recalls the moment he finally reached his goal, only to discover that he failed to attain the eternal realm. Instead, he accidentally opened the corridor of space and time, bringing him back to Earth at the age of 17. Yet, despite all this, he has no idea who the woman before him is or what she wants. Still wearing a mischievous smile, she calls him dear and tells him not to be shy, urging him to come back to bed. Embarrassed, he quickly puts on his robe and tries to explain that there's been a misunderstanding, and he decides to leave. Standing abruptly, the girl glares at him, introducing herself as Yi Chensi. With a smug tone, she declares that she won't let him go, adding that just seeing her is already a blessing. Ignoring her completely, the boy turns his back and heads for the door. Displeased with his attitude, Yi Changxi lunges forward and grabs his arm. The boy instantly feels her immense strength and struggles to break free. When he finally pulls away, strange energy begins to radiate from his hands. Realization dawns on her as she recognizes who he truly is. The boy also notices that this body has no energy. In an instant, Yi Changxi releases a powerful energy wave that sends him flying across the room. As he regains balance, he spots his school uniform nearby and decides to make a quick escape. Grabbing it, he bolts for the door while Yi Changxi, still smoking, watches with amusement. She remarks that this is getting interesting and wonders aloud if he really believes he can escape her. With a sly grin, she declares that Chun Jing is her great white horse, so she won't let him go. Outside, the boy pauses to take in the city around him. Reality sets in. 300 years have passed, and he's finally back on Earth. Thoughts of his father, mother, and brother flood his mind, filling him with longing and relief. Suddenly, a woman's voice catches his attention. She complains about a man being too dramatic, wondering if he's really crying over just a bag. With her arms crossed, she tells him to stop crying and promises to buy it for them today. Her boyfriend affectionately hugs her, calling her kind. Watching this scene, the boy grows thoughtful. Someone then tells him to move aside, snapping him out of his thoughts. Turning his head, he sees a muscular woman carrying 2 bags of cement. Around her, other women are busy working on a construction site. Shock hits him as he realizes how much the world has changed. Women now seem far stronger and more dominant than before. Later, inside a library at an educational institution, the boy reads through an old book. The text explains that during the spring and autumn period, a great disaster altered women's physical condition, making them both smarter and stronger. During that era, a woman named Kong Mo established Confucianism, a doctrine that placed higher respect for women over men. This shift led to the downfall of the emperor, who eventually ceded his throne to a princess. By the 21st century, these changes reshaped society entirely. Respect for women over men became the new standard. In this world, it's even common for women to pursue men. When a married couple divorces, it's considered that the man has been divorced, not the woman. Closing the book, the boy finds it absurd that women are regarded as superior and that they're the ones choosing men for marriage. He simply accepts that the world has become this way. uncertain if his own family follows these new rules. Just then, his father, busy cleaning the house, notices someone opening the door. The protagonist feels amazed to finally see his father again. Without hesitation, he walks toward the man and hugs him. His father, Lin Yuan-tu, remarks that his son said he would go to school and come back later. Suddenly, the old man starts sniffing his son's hair. Shocked, he realizes his son is carrying the scent of perfume and immediately asks if he met a woman. He reminds his son that he already warned him about how dangerous it is to go out, even if it's just to meet a classmate, and that he must always stay alert. Picking up the newspaper, the father mentions a story about a 15-year-old boy who got into trouble because he trusted his classmate, then questions what kind of future his son will have. Confused, the boy wonders what his father means. With a serious tone, Lin asks if his son understands how horrifying that situation is. He continues, complaining that his sister spends all her time playing games, comes from a third-rate university, cannot find a job, and lacks life experience. Trying to change the topic, the boy says he understands and tells his father not to worry. He then asks about his mother. With a sigh, the man explains that she is still out discussing business matters, and since their business has not been doing well, things have been difficult. Wanting to escape the heavy mood, the redhead says it's time to eat and that he will call his sister. Without hesitation, he opens the door to her room. His sister is awake, watching something on her computer. She is telling the streamer to take off his clothes and typing all kinds of adult comments in the chat. A box of wet tissues sits beside her. Horrified, the boy quietly closes the door, feeling embarrassed and questioning what kind of world this is. He even wonders if he is dreaming. Suddenly, he starts screaming loudly, startling his sister, who jumps up from her chair in frustration. She comes out of her room wearing a white shirt with a satisfied expression. Seeing her brother's uneasy look, she asks what his problem is. He tells her it's time to eat and asks if she was watching adult content. With a casual smile, she replies that those are outdated and live streams are better now, explaining that she was just watching a muscular man entertaining his audience. She adds that such things are not meant for boys like him. Feeling relieved, she hums a tune and walks away. The protagonist is left baffled. Later that evening, she announces that she is going out for dinner with her friends and will return late, then asks their father for 1,000 yen. Annoyed, the old man demands to know what she means. His daughter argues that she just wants to hang out with her friends. Furious, the father scolds her, saying she should focus on studying. He adds that if she were half as kind and responsible as her brother, they wouldn't have so many worries. Taking the money, she asks why she should be like him and mocks that he only acts nice to attract rich women. She waves goodbye, ignoring her father's warning not to spend it all. Watching her leave, the redhead asks his father if it's okay to let her go. Eating an apple, the father says he cannot restrict her like he does him because she is a woman and women must work hard and earn money. However, her careless attitude is still unacceptable. Hearing this, the boy realizes that this world is completely reversed. At that moment, his mother returns home from work. Overwhelmed with emotion, he runs to hug her. Surprised, she asks what happened and wonders if he hasn't already received her allowance. She hands him some money, reminding him that even though the family is struggling, she won't let it affect his studies since he is her greatest pride. Remembering how he once used to trick her into giving him small amounts of money to visit the internet cafe, the boy feels overwhelmed. He tries to return the money, saying he doesn't need it, but his mother insists he keeps it. Changing the topic, she asks about her daughter, Chu Xiao. Still irritated, the father says the mother should handle her and mentions that the girl has just gone out. Drinking a glass of water, the mother complains that her daughter is wasting time and wasn't raised this way, but will eventually learn her lesson. Slightly flushed, her husband agrees with her, saying she's right. Watching them interact, the protagonist feels deeply uncomfortable, realizing how unnatural this reversed world truly is. His mother hugs his father, saying that men have it easy in life while women have to face greater hardships, so he should let their daughter be until she matures. Finding the scene very unpleasant, He can't imagine ever being like that in the future. The boy excuses himself and goes to his room. Inside, he notices that the room is decorated in a feminine style. Looking around, he wonders if it truly belongs to him. In this world where women's rights dominate, families always prefer having daughters. This has been the norm for years, creating a huge imbalance between the number of men and women. Millions of women remain single, and those who wish to marry must own a house and car. Handsome men, like him, are often pursued by them. Standing by his desk, he smirks confidently, thinking that with his looks, he must be considered a rare prize. Opening his drawer, he finds several sealed love letters, confirming his suspicion that he is indeed the school's heartthrob and the most desired boy in his prep school. Lying on his bed, he sees this as a curse and decides to cultivate so he can escape this world as soon as possible. While meditating, he notices that the aura here is rich and powerful, enough for him to regain his lost strength and skills. Determined, he declares that he must open the space-time corridor and return to his own world. Night falls, and after practicing the Golden Freedom Jiao technique, his senses become sharper. Confident, he decides to act. As he scans the house, he senses that his parents are asleep, but realizes his sister still hasn't returned. Remembering the world's reversed gender roles, he tells himself it's normal for women to stay out late, but worry still fills his mind. Just then, he received a call from his sister. On the other end, she screams for him to listen. Kneeling on the floor, she says she is being held by two women and is in serious trouble. She tells him there's a black bag under her bed and instructs him to bring it immediately to the Crescent Bar on High Street. Before hanging up, a blue-haired woman takes the phone and warns him that if he wants his sister safe, he must deliver the bag to room 302. Furious, he agrees. Without wasting time, the boy climbs out of the window, determined not to let anyone harm his family. Scaling the side of the building, he uses his old skills to leap across rooftops until he reaches the Crescent Bar. At room 302, he spots his sister shouting for him. Without hesitation, he throws the black bag onto the table and demands they let her go. That's when the lady crosses her arms and comments that his face looks even more stunning in person than in photos as she walks closer. The woman asks his age, but he coldly replies that it's none of her concern. Irritated by his attitude, she grows visibly angry. Glancing to the side, she spots the black bag. As she opens it, stacks of cash spill into view. Shock fills the room. His sister stares in disbelief, questioning how such a large amount of money ended up inside. The protagonist doubts her confusion, wondering if she truly doesn't know what's in the bag. Judging by the amount, it must be close to $1 million. Panicking, the girl cries out, insisting she had no idea about the money and that Xia only asked her to hold on to it for a while. Interrupting, the blue-haired woman orders her to stay silent, accusing her of not having the courage to steal from her. Looking back, she warns the girl to leave before her patience runs out. Nervously, the sister hugs her brother tightly, and together they begin to leave. Before they can reach the door, the woman stops them, asking who said the boy was free to go. With a cold, taunting tone, she says his sister may leave, but he must stay. The sister grows tense, realizing escape won't be easy. The blue-haired woman laughs, commenting that the boy is young and handsome, and while she doesn't mind letting the sister go, the brother will remain. Our boy's sister steps up to protect him. She refuses to let Zhou drag her brother into this. Zhou responds with a mocking laugh, asking if she intends to take her brother's place, and warning her not to regret it later. Sure enough, our boy's sister agrees to stay. She whispers to him, urging him to leave first and promising that everything will be fine. But our boy is built different. How could he leave his sister in danger? He casually steps forward, demanding to know if Zhou truly wants him to stay with her. The atmosphere freezes in shock. Zhou smirks and warns him. She'll take him to bed and torture him all night. Without a word, our boy silences her with a slap. His sister is left stunned. Enraged, Zhou retaliates with a punch. Our boy responds in kind. Both fists collide, unleashing a shockwave that forces them apart. He stands tall, intrigued by the strength women possess in this world. Clenching her injured hand, Zhou orders her men to attack. Our boy smirks, and within seconds, he deals with all of them without breaking a sweat. The aftermath looks like a tornado tore through the place. He's about to leave with his sister, when Zhou, consumed by rage, suddenly pulls out a gun. His sister steps forward, trying to reason with her. But Zhou's fury has reached its peak. She's ready to kill them both. Hearing this, our boy calmly reassures his sister. If the girl wishes to die, he'll gladly grant her wish. Just then, a familiar face enters the club. She surveys the mess, finds the situation intriguing, and asks why she wasn't invited. Chinsi was surprised to run into our boy at the club. Equally stunned, he asked what she was doing there. With a calm smile, she replies, saying the club actually belongs to her. Turning to Zhou, Chinsi insisted on taking over from here. Zhou protested, reminding her of the rules. Her expression darkened instantly. Without hesitation, she instructed her bodyguard to chop off Zhou's hands and legs. Zhou realized his mistake, but it was already too late. Chinsi's demeanor shifted as she turned to our boy, asking for his opinion. After all, she did this for him, but he wasn't impressed. He demanded to know why she wanted to help him in the first place. That's when Chinsi revealed her true intention. She wanted to date him. Yep, girls in this world are direct. She declared he would be her 36th boyfriend. Our boy gently slapped her hand away from his face, clearly not interested. Chinsi reminded him that he is just a man, and with his strength, he could easily become one of Zhou's little boys. Smirking, our boy asked if she wanted to test that theory. Chinsi's face darkened again. His sister warned him that he must be insane. Chinsi was actually stronger than Zhou. Chinsi scoffed, calling him cocky. In response, our boy proposed a game. If he won, she would stop bothering him forever. Chinsi chuckled, once again reminding him that he was just a man. Still, she made her own condition. If she won, he would become her boyfriend. Both agreed. A table was placed in the center of the club, drawing everyone's attention. Onlookers whispered, wondering if our boy had lost his mind. After all, it's been known since ancient times, women are stronger than men. With his keen senses, our boy overheard the chatter. He already knows this fact. Chinsi, on the other hand, promises to bring him back down to earth and highlights the massive gap between a man and a woman. Amidst the shocked gazes of everyone, our boy did the impossible. He made history, becoming the first man to defeat a woman. After winning, our boy reminds her of their bet. Before taking his sister to leave the club, Chinsi is already quite irritated after losing an arm wrestling match to our boy. One of her guards fails to read the room. Instantly, she gets a slap. Chinsi isn't one to give up easily. She calls out to our boy, reminding him that he is a man and claiming he is destined to be taken care of by a woman. She sounds like a broken recorder at this point. She even offers to marry him so that no woman in the city will ever lay hands on him. Hearing this, our boy hates the idea that a man has to be glued to a woman when they have both arms and legs. People hearing this wonder if he has lost his mind or hit his head somewhere. Chinsi counters, saying it has been like this since ancient times. Women are the pillars of the world. Basically, everything in the world is done and created by a woman. Even a little child knows this fact, Chashin adds. Others chime in, saying that some men are actually heroes, but only in novels. In society, women are what truly matter. That's when our boy counters. He says men are striving to be better. Like a true Sigma male, he adds that resting on a cute lady's lap, working hard, and getting rewarded, that's the way and only way of a real man. With that, he takes his leave. Now Chinsi finds him even more interesting. The bodyguard learns her lesson from that slap and asks her boss for instructions. In response, she says our boy is different. That's why she likes him, and that's also why she must have him. Still, the guard insists they leave. Chinsi refuses instantly. After all, she just arrived at the club. Why leave immediately? Let's shift to our boy and his sister. She worriedly hopes our boy won't snitch on her. Of course, our boy insists on telling their parents. After all, what would she have done without his intervention? She switches to protest, but our boy doesn't care. Just then, she changes the subject, wondering how he got so strong and why he rejected Chinsy's proposal. Shamelessly, she adds that getting married to Chinsy would make her life easier. Our boy's face darkens. One more word about Chinsy, and his sister will be sent back to the club. Later that evening, our boy returns to his training. During his session, he unintentionally overhears his sister watching porn. It's safe to say his current sister is worse than the one in his original world. The next day arrives, and our boy attends school. From a distance, he sees someone waving at him. That's when he realizes the chubby guy is actually his best friend, and he can't help but frown at the sight of his friend running. Our boy's friend holds him by the hand and expresses concern in a tender voice. Bro is definitely gay. Our boy decides to leave immediately. He thinks there is no way on earth that guy is his best friend. Later in class, our boy seems completely drained, wishing he could go back to his real world. That's when someone approaches him. The girl is his classmate and the class president, Songcha Oren, who shows concern. Our boy quickly comes up with an excuse upon seeing this. Songcha Oren seizes the chance to invite him for lunch. However, she is interrupted in the process. Another classmate approaches. This one is more proactive, pushing Songcha aside and asking if our boy has read her love letter. Our boy immediately sends the girl flying. The whole class is shocked by this display. Enraged, the girl reacts. Fortunately for her, someone steps in to stop her. A boy from another class enters. Sure enough, the girl recognizes him. Turns out the boy is Chinsy's brother. Just mentioning her name makes the girl run for her life, leaving behind a remark. Anyway, Yi Mao requests a private conversation with our boy. Once they are alone, Yi Mao speaks first, apologizing for what happened to him. Turns out the day before, after our boy visited him, Yi Mao politely asked his sister to help take our boy home. And that's how he ended up with his sister in a hotel. So he apologizes once again on behalf of himself and his sister. Our boy reassures him not to worry. He holds no grudge. Later after school, our boy walks home alone. Suddenly, a car stops beside him. The driver turns out to be Yi Chinsy, who insists on giving him a ride. Our boy rejects instantly, thinking the girl has officially become a stalker. That's when Yi Chinsy mentions something about his family. Our boy gets into the car. She smiles confidently, saying this is how she likes things, and calls him handsome. Then our boy warns her that she made a grave mistake involving herself with his family. Using a reverse play, Yi Chinsy comments that she wasn't referring to a threat at all. However, the hero answers whether it is a threat or not. She would not mention it otherwise. Suddenly, he breaks a small crystal hanging in the car. He steps closer, stating that she should understand the consequences of daring to threaten him. Nervous now, she explains that it is not a threat. She knows that his family's company is currently struggling, so naturally, she's only trying to offer help to his mother and sister. With a cold smile, our boy asks if she feels sorry for him. Realizing he can't be fooled by her words, she drops the act. She makes it clear, she's only going to say it once. She's chasing him. She suggests they start as friends, and in return, she'll help resolve his family's business troubles. Our boy steps back. Calmly, he agrees. They can start as friends. Yet, with a suspicious tone, he adds that if this was her intention, she should not try to mess with him again. He tells Yi Chinsy to drive faster, which makes her a bit annoyed. Later on, she calls him again, saying she has something to ask. With sharp eyes, she asks if he practices ancient martial arts. The hero answers that he does not. She says she knows he lied. His strength is not normal, and he is different. She reveals she did some digging on him and his family. She concludes that even if she asks, he would not answer, because it must be a secret. The hero stays silent. Then, while looking to the side, he sees a truck rushing toward them. He only has time to shout for caution before the truck crashes head-on into the car. The impact sends the vehicle flying. It crashes onto the road, overturned. Severely injured, he asks if Chinsy is safe. In that moment, he had used his own body to shield her. Realizing this, she is shocked. With resolve, our boy lifts her by the waist and breaks the car door. He states that they need to get out immediately. Outside, while still holding her, the girl insists that he is badly hurt and needs a hospital. But the protagonist asks if she thinks it ends here. A group of women armed with baseball bats appears. Their leader steps forward. Chinsi is furious, declaring that they dare to hurt her man and must pay. They rush to attack. Some hold bats, others hold glass bottles, and one carries a machete. Chinsi leaps into action, using her abilities to defend herself. Meanwhile, a gray-haired woman approaches our boy with a machete. Clenching his fist, he thinks once again that he has been underestimated. He delivers a powerful punch straight to her ribs, sending her flying and disarmed. At the same time, Chinsi fights multiple attackers at once. With a steady expression, he picks up the machete from the ground. Determined, he charges toward the group surrounding Chinsi. In a single sweeping motion, he strikes 3 women, sending them crashing away. 2 more freeze in shock. Finishing the exchange, Chinsi knocks them down with a clean palm strike. All attackers fall with almost no effort required. Chinsi looks pleased and praises our boy for what he did. He responds that it was nothing and she should handle the rest. Agreeing, Chinsi says she will call someone to clean the situation up, admitting that without the hero, she would have been in serious danger. When she tries inviting him for dinner, our boy says they cannot continue tonight. It is late, and his father must be worried. Suddenly, the girl's phone vibrates. She answers. Within seconds, her expression shifts to shock. Our hero notices. He turns his face away, saying it does not matter, and it has nothing to do with him. Family matters should not involve someone like a prep school student. But Chinsi walks toward him, grabs his arm, and begs him not to leave. With trembling voice and tears, she says her mother was seriously injured in an attack and is at home right now. Our boy immediately becomes suspicious. Both she and her mother were attacked at the same time. It cannot be a coincidence. This means the balance of the underworld in the city is about to shift. Chinsi panics at the thought of her mother possibly dying and her aunt taking power. If that happens, she will be expelled from the family. She asks what she should do. Trying to calm her, he tells her to stay strong. The family depends on her now. At the very least, he can help support her spirit. Surprised, the girl wonders why something like this is happening now, and how she could truly trust a man's feelings. Without hesitation, she steps forward and hugs him tightly. Sometime later at night, at the Yi family's estate, a place heavily guarded by security, the young lady finally arrives. Worried, she asks about the situation. The woman guarding the entrance explains that the situation is serious. No one is allowed inside except the madam because Miss May has given strict orders. Annoyed, the young lady questions how this woman dares to act this way. The protagonist then asks who this Yi May. She explains that Yi May is just her aunt, the woman who has been in the family for years, always plotting with other influential families behind the scenes. Since there was never solid evidence, no one could stop her. Frustrated, Chinsi tells the protagonist to come with her. However, one guard stops them and demands to know who the boy is. The guard claims he cannot pass. Angered, the girl demands to know how they dare treat her guest like this. The protagonist steps forward and calmly states that he is a doctor here to check the madam. Inwardly, he feels fortunate to have learnt medicine in the fairy world. The guards laugh, questioning if a man could really be a doctor. The protagonist then casually mentions that one guard has suffered from a reproductive nerve system infection for years, and the other has chronic pain from martial arts training combined with improper Chinese medicine practice. The guards freeze, realizing everything he said is true. Both lowers their heads and allow him to enter. At that moment, Yi Mei and her daughter appear. Mei remarks that it is fortunate she arrived just in time. Chinsi, already irritated, declares her intentions and demands to see her immediately. With a mocking expression, Mei lectures her about hierarchy and tells her to call her aunt. She then points at the boy, questioning how she dares to bring a strange man into the Yi family's estate. No man is allowed inside unless qualified. Chinsi insists our protagonist is the doctor she summoned. Mei raises an eyebrow, believing he was just someone brought home recently. She states that if a man wishes to enter the Yi family, he must demonstrate certain ability. Otherwise, he cannot step beyond this door. She orders her daughter to test him. Her daughter agrees instantly. Meanwhile, her mother believes that if her daughter harms our boy, Yi Chinsi will end up defending him, which goes against family tradition. If this happens, no one, not even her sister, the head of the family, will be able to protect her. The daughter calls the boy handsome and proposes a deal. If she wins, he must agree to something. With a sly expression, she demands that if she wins, he must spend one night with her. Chinsi becomes furious, telling her not to push things too far. But the protagonist places a hand on her arm, calmly stating that it is fine and they can begin. The girl suddenly strikes, trying to kick him. She intended to distract him earlier. The protagonist counters immediately and lands a direct punch to her stomach, sending her flying backward. Her mother screams in shock. The protagonist asks if she still wants that night. The aunt calls him an animal, horrified, but the daughter, clutching her abdomen, and Chinsi points out that she provoked him first. With a mocking tone, the protagonist suggests taking her to the hospital, since he cannot guarantee she is not suffering internal damage. The mother carries her daughter out, cursing and calling him cruel. Later, inside the mansion, the aunt waits, anxious. When Yi Chinsi enters, she rushes to hug her. Chinsi asks about her mother. The aunt replies that the injury is serious and they can only keep her under observation. The protagonist states that if this is true, waiting will only make things worse and that he may be able to help. The blonde woman asks who he is. Ignoring the question, he simply says they must trust him. Yi Chinsi explains that he is her friend who was also attacked and helped her. He is also a doctor. They enter the mother's room. Chinsi rushes to her mother's side. The woman weakly asks who the boy is. Our boy responded, saying he is the doctor entrusted with her care. Laughing lightly, the mother does not believe he can help and asks to speak to her daughter privately. The aunt gestures for him to leave, but Chinsi insists that he is the only reason she is safe. Hearing this, the mother is surprised. It is the first time her daughter has spoken positively about any man. The protagonist explains calmly that harmful energy was struck into the left side of her back, and her own internal force has been used to resist it, weakening her. Shocked, the woman realizes his words are true. In a steady tone, she asks her daughter to leave because she wants to speak to him alone, much to Yi Chinsi's refusal. Now alone, the injured woman asks if he was sent by the Li family and what his intentions are. The protagonist explains he is not from that family and that her daughter's feelings should answer that question. If he had not intervened, she would already be dead. Believing him now, she removes her clothes slightly to reveal the wound. She warns him with cold seriousness that if he ever harms her daughter, she will personally take his life. The protagonist tries not to react to the sudden sight, reminding himself he is still a man. But when he opens his eyes, he sees a curse mark burned deeply into her back. It is serious. He tells her the curse will destroy her internal organs within 5 days. Chinsi's mom asks if he can help. Placing his hand over the mark, he begins to draw the curse energy out. The woman winces in pain, but slowly the curse begins to recede. Sweat forms on the protagonist's brow. His current level can only handle this much. Removing it all at once is too dangerous. The woman is impressed. She feels noticeably lighter. She smiles, asking how she can thank him. He responds that he only did what should be done. Embarrassed, she laughs, realizing she forgot he and her daughter were friends. Later, our boy meets Yi Chinsi. She is surprised. She never imagined he could heal her mother. Out of nowhere, she hugs him tightly. She asks him to stay the night, saying she has a reward for him. While most guys would agree without a second thought, the protagonist hesitates and explains that if his parents find out he spent the night here, they'll freak out, especially his father. She reluctantly agrees, calling him handsome and telling him to watch out for temptation. Meanwhile, the cursed energy lingers on his palm, resistant to eradication due to his current lack of strength. So he recalls the elixirs of the fairy realm and wonders if something similar might exist in this world. The next day, he walks to school. Nearby, several students cheer for Tang Zian, the purple-haired girl who just scored a clean shot. The boy is momentarily stunned when he sees her. Her name definitely sounds familiar. She was his first love in the previous world. Seeing her again melts his heart. But this world is different. Here, they are strangers. He decides not to approach her. Suddenly, Tang Zian calls out, stopping him. She asks if they have met before. He simply replies, saying they once attended the same school. The girl insists that is not what she meant. Just like in his previous life, she also investigates on her own. Shifting topics, she asks him to play basketball, and she will teach him. In response, he smiles and steals the ball in one swift motion. While holding the ball with one finger, he suggests a quick match. Tang Zian declares that if she wins, he becomes her boyfriend. Confident, he asks what happens when she loses. If he wins, she offers to do anything he wants. The crowd erupts with excitement. They believe Tang Zian already has this in the bag. Tang Zian moves quickly, dribbling past him and scoring a three-pointer. The crowd cheers that she will definitely win. Confidence fills her expression. Tang states she will not hold back and wants him as her boyfriend. With one hand on his neck, the protagonist casually says she should try again. The girl charges at him with the basketball, making an impressive leap for the shot, but something unexpected happens. Our boy blocks her midair, sending the ball flying across the court. The crowd is stunned, questioning how a man can jump that high. Preparing to attack, the protagonist says it is his turn now. He charges toward the hoop. With a powerful leap, he delivers a clean slam dunk. He scores without hesitation. The crowd falls silent as Tang stands there defeated. Getting straight to the point, she asks what he wants from her. Approaching her, the protagonist lightly touches her face and asks if she truly wants to be with him. The boys watching are shocked and filled with admiration, saying the move was beyond smooth. Tang then blushes and smiles. She states that if he wants to be with her, he must become stronger. The protagonist is stunned, wondering when this girl became so confident. Sometime later at the Yi family's home, the protagonist finishes another healing session for the woman. During the treatment, he realizes the process helped advance his pure aura and spiritual body by nearly 30%. After completing the session, he prepares to leave. Outside, Chinsi thanks him and asks what kind of reward he wants. At that moment, the hero imagines something bold and embarrassing. Flustered, he walks away, saying time is needed to think. On the way home, he considers that during the next detoxification for Aunt Yi, his spiritual body may fully awaken. Great progress can soon be achieved in this world. Suddenly, someone steps out of a purple car wearing extravagant clothing. The person approaches, asking if the protagonist is Chu Qing and whether he has been pursuing Tang Zian. Mockery fills his tone as he continues, asking if our boy thinks he looks impressive and wonders if he has ever met him. Our boy just stares at Li Yue as if the guy is some kind of idiot. Li Yue, irritated by the silence, raises his hand to slap him. But our boy calmly grabs the fool's wrist and swiftly immobilizes him. Seeing this, Li Yue wonders why his bodyguards are still standing motionless. The guards rush forward, but he swiftly kicks both aside. With a serious expression, he grabs the boy's head and slams into the ground. He warns that next time the boy should bring more people if he wants to fight. The defeated Li Yue shouts that the Li family will not let this matter go and claims Tang will eventually marry him. The protagonist silences him with another punch and remarks that he is too loud. After the fight, the hero wonders if Tang Zian's situation might cause problems for her family. He decides to look into it and remembers that Chinsi had offered to help earlier. He messages her, asking for the contact of a private investigator. Instead, she sends him money right away and tells him to keep it. He figures she must think he's short on cash, but accepts it since he needs money to get information. He reaches out to an information broker, who turns out to be a girl. They agree to meet soon. The scene switches to a nightclub, the location for the meeting. Our boy was momentarily lost in his thoughts when he felt a gentle tap on his shoulder. A girl named Chun Hua Hua greeted him. She appears small and youthful, yet lively. She sits beside him, asking what information he needs. Our boy is genuinely surprised by her appearance. Definitely not what he had in mind. Before proceeding, she asked about his relationship with Chensi. Seeing no response, our boy suddenly spit out his drink the moment she asked him to be her boyfriend. He quickly adjusted himself and focused on business, stating he wanted to buy information about the Tang family. In surprise, Chen Huahua commented on his relationship with Tang Zian. He clarified that it wasn't what she thought. Still, it's a mystery how Chen Huahua knows about him and Tang Zian. After their playful conversation, Chen Huahua shifted her focus back to business. She explains details about the Tang family, a powerful commercial house with widespread companies. Recently, financial trouble has struck their industrial chain, and the Li family proposed a marriage alliance to stabilize the situation. Our boy was a bit surprised when he heard this, because none of it had happened in his previous life. As he thought about it, another idea suddenly came to his mind. The protagonist learns from her. Apparently, the Tang family specializes in alchemy and elixirs. Shock rises within him, realizing this world also contains spiritual alchemists. Because our boy wanted the most information, she offered to tell him, but only if he met a setting condition. After joking around for the last time, our boy learns that there are two main types of alchemy. The first is called common alchemy, which uses internal energy to create elixirs. This is the Tang family's specialty. The second type uses mysterious spiritual energy. Chen Huahua adds that this kind of alchemy is beyond the usual scope of knowledge. Our boy is surprised. This means there are others in the world like him. Chen Huahua says she usually charges a high price for this kind of information, but she give him a discount because she find him handsome. Curious, our boy asks if she knows anything about secret dealings, like rare medicinal ingredients or related trades. She smiles and says she'll share that information if he agrees to go on a dinner date with her. Later, both sit at a street food stall. Once seated, she orders 20 pork ribs and several beers. The boy is stunned by her order. He notices that in this world, women drink heavily and eat heartily. Suddenly, he recalls that many social roles are reversed in this world. After a few drinks, Chen Huahua becomes drunk and emotional. She confesses that the boy she liked rejected her for being poor. Crying, she asks whether someone like her deserves love and possibly get married. Then she blushes and asks if maybe the protagonist likes her. Our boy doesn't respond. Sometime later, the protagonist carries the drunk Chen Huahua back to her apartment. The place is a complete mess, and now he understands why she's so desperate for a boyfriend. She clearly needs someone to help her clean. As the boy tries to leave after laying her on the bed, Chen Huahua suddenly clings to him, ending up on top of him. Chen Huahua suggests that the boy stay for the night, but she suddenly falls asleep on his chest. Gently, he covers the sleeping girl with a blanket. Later that night, he scrolls through her phone, reading updates about the Tang family and a major auction house specializing in ancient martial arts relics. He smiles, realizing survival in any world requires money, but he possesses something very valuable. Days pass. The protagonist cultivates on a rooftop, channeling spiritual energy. In the immortal world, cultivation relies on spiritual stones. This world lacks such stones, but he can create their essence. As long as this continues, money will not be an issue. At the Yi household, Madame Yi finishes recovery. Her strength is restored, and she vows to repay the attack. She silently expresses gratitude to the protagonist, promising that if he ever needs help, the Wei family will respond immediately. Outside, the protagonist reflects that the detoxification is complete and her spiritual power now flows freely. The next step is full cultivation. At that moment, Yi Chinsi runs toward him and suddenly kisses him. Embarrassed, but sincere, she thanks him for saving her mother. Before anything more can happen, a guard calls her away for an urgent family meeting. She turns back briefly and smiles before leaving. She apologizes, saying she has to leave and cannot stay today, but one day she will give him her complete gift. A bit awkward, the hero thinks that being kissed by a girl like her is not bad at all. Later at home, he sits on the bed cultivating. A strong flow of energy begins to emit from the palm of his hand. When he passed through the space-time corridor, the only thing he could not leave behind was this sword. It has stayed with him for 100 years and feels limitless, but he still doubts if it truly belongs to this world. Suddenly, a massive surge of power rises inside his body. He declares that he will bid farewell to his weak self. Ancient markings begin to appear across his skin. With a confident smile, the hero states that his spiritual body has finally awakened. His sister enters the room next, demanding to know what he is doing. The protagonist realizes the situation has taken a wrong turn and hides the sword quickly. However, his state of undress and nervous expression make it obvious that something unusual is happening. Seeing this scene, the girl simply closes the door and leaves, commenting that he can continue enjoying his private moment and apologizes for interrupting. The boy stands frozen, realizing another complete misunderstanding has occurred. After calming down, he dresses himself and wears the sword as a necklace. He decides it is time to visit the auction house to evaluate the value of the spiritual stone. Later, he enters the auction house. A man inside mentions that the auction house is closed and advises returning tomorrow. The hero simply reveals the stone in his palm. At first, the man thinks it is just a yellow rock, but quickly realizes its aura is extraordinary. Shocked, he takes the stone in his hands and senses its strong cultivation energy. It is a rare treasure. He introduces himself as Jiayu, the heir of the Shurjin auction house. The hero responds with his own name, Chu Qing. Jiayu asks about the stone and how many there are. Chu explains that the stone is a spiritual stone and that Jiayu should already understand its effect. He then reveals that he has 5 in total. Determined, Jiayu offers 200,000 yen for each, totaling 1 million yen. Sometime later, the hero leaves the auction house satisfied. The price was even higher than expected. He considers that if everything continues smoothly, he can build a major business monopoly. It is only a matter of time before a great storm transforms the martial arts auction world. As he walks, a message arrives from Manhwa. Before he can think further, he senses someone nearby. A mysterious figure in a trench coat steps out, holding a knife. The figure rushes in to attack. The hero instantly activates the sword formation. Energy flows as the sword technique deflects the blade. The attacker steps back in disbelief. The hero counterattacks swiftly. With one strike of concentrated energy, the enemy falls. Sweat begins to pour on the assassin face as our boy presses the sword on his shoulder. With a cold expression, he demands to know the one responsible. Terrified, the man confesses that Li Yue hired him, claiming he was weak, before begging for his life. The hero smiles faintly and finishes the job without hesitation. Before leaving, he remarks that someone will come to collect the body. Irritation rises. He decides it is time to settle things with the Li family. However, pain suddenly spreads through his chest. Heat rushes through his body, vision blurs, and his steps become heavy. Leaning against a wall, he struggles to understand what is happening. His movement becomes slow and hazy as he makes his way onward. He eventually reaches Chen's house. His appearance is unsteady, like someone drunk. Without warning, he embraces her. Embarrassed, the girl tries to understand his behavior. Their lips meet, and a soft pink glow surrounds them both. Afterward, he apologizes and wonders why the attraction feels so strong today. He questions if it is connected to taking a life in this world. The girl embraces him gently and encourages him not to restrain himself. The two share an intimate moment. Later, he lies on the couch with the girl resting on top of him. He realizes that even if he plans not to get too involved in this world, some things simply happen beyond control. With a faint smile, he accepts that conquering this world may be the only direction left. The next day at school, the hero rests his head on his desk. Tang enters the classroom and asks about Chu. Hearing his name, he raises his head. The pink-haired girl approaches and tells him to have lunch with her. Confusion rises as he wonders why the women in this world are so direct. Tang moves closer, noticing his scent. She asks why he smells like another woman. The boy becomes stiff and uneasy. She changes the topic by suggesting they should eat together. Chu stands and agrees to leave with her, internally relieved that she dropped the question. He hopes she does not discover the events of the previous night, as that would lead to problems. In the corridor, his friend wonders if this is reality, seeing both Tang and our boy walking together. During the walk, Chu asks Tang why she invited him. She simply says she wanted to eat with him and asks if she can hug him. The hero takes her hand instead, causing her face to turn red. He laughs and gently pinches her cheek. She becomes annoyed, questioning his boldness. His laughter continues, showing genuine happiness. Observing Tang carefully, his chest softens with an unknown warmth. Tang, raised to be an heiress, has never experienced such feelings. After watching his performance on the basketball court, something inside her changed. She now sees him as the most important person. She feels protected whenever he is near. Embarrassed, she covers her face, confused by her own emotions. Outside the school, they eat at a small restaurant. The hero orders 2 bowls of noodles without cilantro, but with chili and vinegar. Tang becomes surprised, wondering how he knew her preference. Her face reddens again. Meanwhile, 2 suspicious women approach. He notices the knives hidden under their shirts. The bowls are ready. As Chu walks to retrieve them, one woman signals the other. The first moves to attack Tang from behind, but receives a bowl of hot noodles to the face. The second darts in with a blade. Chu blocks, taking the stab meant for Tang. Shocked, Tang watches as energy bursts from him. He sent the attacker flying. The second remains standing. Tang urges him to run, insisting she is the target. Chu refuses to abandon her. He charges and lands a heavy blow that sends the braided woman crashing away. The short-haired one tries to strike from behind, but his back only receives a light scratch. With a cold gaze, he sends her flying as well. Both attackers collapse, seriously injured. Tang asks if he comes from a powerful ancient martial arts family. Chu explains that it is complicated, and for now, it is best to leave and contact her family to handle the cleanup. Outside, Tang Xian carries the wounded Chu. She suggests go to hospital, but our boy just smiles, saying the wound is minor and he can heal it. Still thoughtful, he recognizes the attackers used weapons infused with some kind of mystical force, so caution is necessary in the future. At that moment, Tang admits that it seems he already knows much about her family situation. She asks whether Li Yue hurt him and if he is in danger. Chu responds with calm confidence that he is still capable of handling people like them, so there's no need for fear. Seeing his unwavering resolve, Tang blushes faintly and asks why he protected her at such risk. The hero responds that he does not know, while secretly thinking that he cannot reveal she was his girlfriend in another life. Our boy expresses that it feels as if he has known her for a long time, to the point that he would do anything for her, even to die for her. Hearing this leaves the purple-haired girl completely stunned. The hero continues, stating that as long as she trusts him, he will help her. He also mentions knowledge of her family's recent troubles. Tang explains that her family is well known for medical expertise and pharmaceutical factories. A month ago, their family formula was stolen, and multiple families joined forces to drive them out of the market. Their investigation revealed that the Leaf family is behind everything. The hero, with a serious look, realizes once again the Leaf family is involved, attempting to destroy the Tang family while also tightly monitoring them. He questions whether they are not afraid of the consequences. Placing his hands on her shoulders, he asks if she believes he can help solve her family's problems. Surprised yet hopeful, Tang asks if he truly has a way. He smiles and says the solution is simple if a new refinement formula can be created. But she thinks that this task is extremely difficult. Her family has dozens of research facilities, and even with all those resources, it took 20 years to develop a few formulas. The hero tells her not to worry, stating that they will discuss the matter later. He mentions an auction happening in 2 days. By the time it ends, her family will recognize him. That will be the best time to make arrangements. Suddenly, pain strikes his chest. Tang becomes concerned and moves closer. The hero recalls marking Yi Chinsi with a ray and wonders if the connection is weakening. He says goodbye, telling Tang he has urgent business and will return to school. He asks her to tell Ling Dong to apologize to the teacher for him. Then he calls Hua Hua, mentioning that something serious has happened to Yi Chinsi and asks for help tracking her phone and sending the location. Hua Hua agrees and sends it immediately. He then calls Zhai, introduces himself, and explains the situation. He asks if something valuable is involved. She replies no, but he needs help arranging a car. The man asks for the location and promises to pick him up, even closing the auction house early to handle the matter. Before long, Chu is inside a Lamborghini. Noticing that Yi Chinsi's location has changed, he shows it to the driver. Zhayu tells him to hold on, and the car accelerates with almost unnatural force. The hero activates a special vision, allowing him to see through objects, revealing Yi Chinsi unconscious in the back of a van. He instructs the driver to stop that vehicle. Zhayu smirks and accelerates further. In a swift turn, he positions the Lamborghini in front of the van, forcing it into a sudden crash against a tree. The hero steps out. Two armed men emerge from the van, injured but prepared to fight. As they raise their weapons and shout, the hero moves faster, striking both down with one clean motion of his magical sword. He approaches the van, but a sudden instinct warns him. A mysterious attacker releases a lightning strike. The hero narrowly avoids it, but the van bursts into flames. Two men appear, dressed like ancient martial artists and carrying an aura unlike ordinary people. They seem like him, cultivators who came from another world. One of them notes the hero's young age and talent, inviting him to join the Quanjin sect. The hero responds with calm disdain, referring to them as failures produced by their own sect. Irritated, the man barks at his brother to kill the boy. Yet the hero remains composed, stating that shallow martial artists like them should have stayed in the mountains to train for more years. His words leave them stunned. The man in the green kimono charges forward, enraged, wielding his weapon. The hero blocks the strike, and the man retreats, shocked to see his weapon cracked. Furious, he demands an explanation. The hero goes on the offensive, breaking the weapon completely. The man attacks again with raw energy, but the hero disables him with his sword, severing one of his arms. His brother becomes horrified, unleashing powerful force with his brush. He threatens to kill the hero. The hero uses the injured brother as leverage, tossing him aside, and tells the remaining fighter that if he wants to fight, then do it properly. He points out the disgrace of descending the mountain only to abduct a girl. Enraged, the man in blue launches forward, declaring death for the hero. Yet the hero moves behind him with blinding speed, striking him from behind. In disbelief, the man realizes their master misled them. Soon, both are defeated, bodies scattered near the burning wreckage. The hero rushes to Yi Chinsi, gently tapping her face to wake her. She opens her eyes, annoyed, admitting she could not defeat the two men and had tried to escape. The hero hugs her, assuring her that everything is fine now. She looks around and realizes everyone has already been defeated. The protagonist asks if she knows who orchestrated this. She suspects the Li family, noting that the conflict between both families has now escalated into open war. The hero concludes that the Li family is allied with mountain sect martial artists, forming secret agreements. Yi Chinsi explains that these attackers were not ordinary. They possessed immense power and did not show any signs of forced breathing during battle. The hero agrees, but warns that her family must not relax. She insists that not only the Li family, but also smaller families and individuals are moving for advantage. He asks if this connects to the upcoming auction, which has caused martial families to appear more active. She nods, saying the Li family likely has early intelligence others lack. Then, she kisses him softly, calling him her lucky star, and shyly asks him to return home with her, since her family wants to thank him. The hero gently ruffles her hair and agrees. Later that night, in the Yi family residence, several aunts and her mother sit around a table, observing Yi Chinsi and the hero. One aunt interrupts, saying a stranger should not be allowed at a confidential family meeting, especially a man. The hero remains calm, stating he has no interest in joining their council or interfering in family secret meeting. Yi Chinsi's mom is annoyed that our boy failed to read the room. Now proposing marriage will be much more difficult. The boy pulls out a spiritual stone and offers it as a business opportunity. He tosses the stone to the arrogant aunt, who examines it and assumes it's just an ordinary rock. But the boy explains that he made it himself. After he guides Yi Chinsi's mom on how to use the stone, she begins to channel her inner strength. With the help of the spiritual stone, her body surges with powerful energy. Everyone in the group watches in awe. Amazed, she asks how many stones he has and states she wants to buy them all at a reasonable price. But the hero explains the spiritual stone cannot be sold directly. The arrogant aunt becomes irritated, accusing him of playing games. Our boy indicated he wasn't done. He reveals the stone will be evaluated in 2 days at the auction and its price determined publicly. If they want it, they can purchase it with a discount. He adds that the real purpose of his visit is to offer something else. Protective talisman and an elixir capable of boosting combat effectiveness in a short period. The women are impressed, and one asks how much the combat power can be increased. Chu responds that it improves around 30%. Chinsi's mother asks how long production will take and what the price will be. Chu explains that the protective talisman can be made within a few days, and they may decide the price themselves. As for the elixir, it requires about 1 week to produce, and the final price will be decided once the first batch is delivered. One of the aunts remains skeptical and asks why he is offering this level of help. The hero answers that it is because Yi Chinsi is his friend. Hearing this, Chinsi feels shy but also happy. Sometime later, the two step outside the house. Smiling, Chinsi admits that at first, she only wanted to tease him, but instead, they became true friends, and he even helped her family. The hero smiles as well, thinking that life in this world has truly become worthwhile. After the auction and with the Tang family support, building his own influence in Jinmen will soon be possible. Later, he returns home, calling for his parents. However, an unexpected guest is present. Chu Qinghe, his aunt. He greets her, confused because no one mentioned other relatives. The woman immediately comments on his appearance and declares that she has come to arrange his marriage. Shocked, the hero points out that he is only 17 and still a minor. He also mentions that he is still in school and such matters should wait until after university. The aunt responds coldly, questioning what man bothers attending university and claiming that it is a waste of money. Our boy is clearly annoyed after hearing this. He hates remembering that in this world, women hold dominance while men have weaker positions. Trying to shift the conversation, the aunt asks his mother about his sister, and the mother replies that she is at home. The hero thinks to himself that his sister is likely just sleeping. The aunt comments that it is unfortunate her family's methods differ from hers, noting that her own children are well disciplined. The father rises, suggesting tea to lighten the mood, though sadness shows in his expression. Irritated, the hero inwardly remarks that the aunt has gone far enough and thinks of putting her into a bag. The aunt then criticizes his father, asking the mother why she ever married someone like him, and saying she should have married into the powerful Lu family instead. With a sharp and cold expression, the hero slams a pipe onto the table, startling both women. He apologizes, claiming there was an insect. The aunt stands, stating that she expects an answer soon, and warns of consequences if one is not given. While leaving, she mocks him, telling him to enjoy his final year at school, because marriage may not be far away. The hero asks why he must listen to her. The aunt explains that his family plans to marry him to a wealthy woman to improve their financial standing. Crossing his arms, he sarcastically apologizes, stating that he does not sell himself cheaply. Since the woman is wealthy, he asks how much she offers for just one leg. The aunt becomes frustrated and tells the mother to take him to a hospital, insisting that something is clearly wrong with him. The hero leaves the room and isolates himself, in his bedroom. There, he calls Chintzy, stating he has something to discuss. Later, the aunt meets with two men involved in the entertainment business. Outside the room, a figure observes everything. She asks if the plan is only to cut off the woman's leg. Chintzy replies that they should also take a kidney while they're at it. Meanwhile, Chu is at home levitating stones with his power. One stone glows with a vibrant aura. He reflects that while the situation in Jinmen City is currently unstable, his family problems remain. However, he now has enough time to create protective magical artifact for those he cares about. Picking a stiletto blade, he launches it toward another infused jade stone. The jade glows so strongly and forms a barrier that sends the weapon flying. The hero concludes that the material obtained from Jiayu is not poor. It can be used to create protective swords capable of reacting when their owner is in danger. At dinner, the family eats together. The father encourages his son to continue studying. After a moment of silence, the boy responds that there is no need to worry and that he will always protect his parents. The father explains that health is more important than money. Chu agrees and presents jade necklaces to his parents and sister. They examine them, confused but intrigued by the soothing energy they radiate. Chu states that he obtained them from the temple and that they carry beneficial effects. At school, Chu sits in class, feeling the fatigue of creating too many magical items. The blue-haired girl behind him warns him not to fall asleep, but stops as the teacher approaches. The teacher taps the desk firmly and tells him to solve an equation on the board. Though he did not listen earlier, he recalls something similar taught before by the blue-haired girl and confidently completes the solution. The teacher is shocked, and some classmates discuss how our boys solved the problem so quickly, even though they struggled to understand the teacher. With a soft expression, the teacher insists he shouldn't sleep in class next time. We learn from our boy that this is the first time he's being treated kindly, despite having been a failed student in his previous life. The teacher suddenly offers him the position of class representative. Chu tries to refuse, but the teacher asks, almost threateningly, if he has any complaints, forcing him to agree without further protest. Resting his head on the desk, Chu continues crafting talismans in secret. These talismans, made for the Yi family, can block only one lethal strike, just as he wonders how much he can make in such a short time. His friend startled him in the process. Suddenly, the small item explodes. His friend asks how he can play with fire in class. Realizing the talisman is not broken, Chu hands it to him, explaining that it offers protection but must remain secret. The friend is moved and offers something in return, a half-empty soda bottle. Chu becomes annoyed, but the friend insists he has something to say. The sports festival is in a few days, and he asks if Chu will participate. Our boy rejects the idea. However, the friend reveals that the video of his match with Tang Zian has already spread, so the school will force him to compete. He adds that this is their final sports festival and asks if Chu does not want to create memories. Chu realizes the friend is right and decides to join. The friend celebrates, saying now he can get his prize. Chu asks if he placed a bet with someone. The friend denies it. A girl with peach-colored hair enters the classroom. The students whisper that she is Ling Weiner, the school idol who sings and plays piano. She approaches Chu, noting it has been a long time. She mentions that he has become a school sensation after defeating Tang Zian. He modestly claims it was luck. She explains that old classmates are holding a reunion and asks him to guess who is organizing it. Chu answers it must be Zhou Buchuan, since he always wants attention. Ling Weiner asks if he plans to attend, stating it will be dull otherwise. With a smile, he comments he will be there. She tells him it is scheduled for tomorrow night and pinches his cheek. Surprising enough, she comments how handsome he looks and realized why Tang Zian fell for him. After saying this, she leaves while humming a tone. Meanwhile, our boy finds her teasing to be a bit annoying. His friend wonders how Chu became so close to her. Chu explains that they were classmates since childhood. The friend claims Ling Weiner is his idol and says meeting her once would make his life complete. Chu leaves the room, saying he has something to do. A purple-haired girl reads quietly in her classroom. Chu approaches and asks if she is working on her assignment. She looks up, admiring his face, and explains that the task is difficult. Blushing, he offers guidance, using the same method he used earlier in class. Soon, a crowd forms around them. He decides it is not the right place for attention and takes her hand, leading her to the open courtyard. There, he gives her a necklace and tells her it will keep her safe. She recognizes that the material is rare and tries to return it, believing it too expensive. He insists and asks for her trust. She becomes emotional and thanks him. Later, he enters his classroom thinking about making 30 more talismans before going home. With his hand hidden under the desk, he continues crafting quietly. When the class ends, he gathers his tools and reminds himself that he still needs to meet Chinsi tonight to discuss how much support her family can offer. A hand rests on his shoulder. His blue-haired friend asks if they're going out after school. When the boy asked where they were heading, his chubby friend replied vaguely, only saying it was an exciting place. In response, our boy leaves the room, saying he cannot go this time. The scene switches to Yi family's mansion. Yi Chinsi hugs the protagonist, telling him that he has finally arrived. The dark-haired girl notices he smells like another woman and questions if he is seeing someone. Our boy defends himself, asking her to forget about it, then shows her the necklace he made, saying she doesn't need to pay for it. Chinsi examines the necklace material, but suddenly a white object flies toward her. Startled, she raises her amulet, summoning a purple shield. Our boy explains that the necklace activates automatically whenever she's in danger. The girl smiles happily, then pushes him onto the bed, saying it's really cool. She warns him not to run away just because he gave her that and threatens to hurt him if she finds out he's with someone else. The boy places his hand on her face and lays her down, telling her he must leave but will return in a few days. At Hao's apartment, our boy enters and notices the door is unlocked. The girl sleeps on the couch, crying and trapped in a nightmare. When she wakes up, she hugs him tightly, saying she dreamed of their mother again and doesn't want her or her father. She asks if our boy will end up like her parents and abandon her. Chu silently wonders if one day he might return to his main world. He strokes her hair and promises he won't leave. She warns him not to dare, or she'll bite him, then jumps into his arms. As Chunhua sleeps, our boy decides to return home before his father finds out he didn't stay the night. While grabbing his phone, he accidentally clicks the mouse and notices the screen shows information about an ancient martial arts family. He looks at her, thinking about how much she helped him collect that data. Before leaving, he places a protective amulet beside her and kisses her forehead. Walking down the street, he answers a call from his father, who demands to know his location and threatens to send his mother to pick him up. Chu says he's near the shopping center. A car soon stops, and his mother arrives. Surprised, he comments on how fast she came, but she says she was nearby. She sniffs and notices the scent of another woman. The boy explains he was at a party with his colleagues, surrounded by many people, thinking how sensitive women are to such things. His mother lights a cigarette, warning him not to be alone with any woman. He nods, asking if she hasn't quit smoking. She excuses herself, saying she's doing it to mask the scent of the perfume and avoid triggering his dad's outburst. Understanding, the protagonist pinches his nose and thanks her. Suddenly, a notification pops up on his phone, an amulet he made sold to the Yi family for 2 million. Excited, he thinks his knowledge from the fairy world could make him rich. If he creates something more valuable, it might be his big break. At home, his father asks him to report if his mother starts smoking again. Our boy assures him he's on his side. Through messages, he contacts Jiayu, asking if he's free for a delivery. He replies that he's available now. They meet at a restaurant. Jiayu examines the amulet and praises its craftsmanship, saying it's worth at least 10 million. The boy says he already knows its value and sees no need to explain further. Jiayu realizes our boy has investigated him. He raises a glass of wine, declaring that this is the first time someone has wanted to be his friend. Puzzled, the protagonist asks why. Jiayu explains he grew up with his father until adolescence, then discovered his mother was from a powerful family. After that, he was transferred to a noble school where students treated him differently. A girl once asked if he was a legitimate child. Since then, he has always felt like an outsider. Despite training in familiar arts and seizing every opportunity, he still feels disconnected from the nobles. Chu says he doesn't face such issues, but understands the pain. His own mother was from a noble family that rejected her relationship with his father, forcing them to elope. Recently, her family pressured his parents to marry him to an overweight woman weighing more than 90 kilograms. Jiayu laughs uncontrollably and apologizes, while our boy remains calm, already expecting that reaction. Jiayu then suggests they drink together, and they toast. He wishes our boy luck with the arranged marriage. Later, Chu drunkenly climbs the stairs to his apartment. He spots his sister trying to quietly open the door. She freezes the moment she feels a hand on her shoulder. The boy covers her mouth, asking if she wants to wake their parents. She scolds him, saying he'll never get married if he keeps getting drunk. Just then, she feels dizzy and collapses in his arms. Now lying on the bed, she looks peaceful. At this point, the boy felt like he could throw up at any moment. And just like that, he collapsed, wondering why he was suddenly lying on something so soft. His sister murmurs to someone named Xiao Feng not to be shy. Confused, Chu wonders who that is. She moves closer to kiss him, but he quickly stands. He comes to his senses and swears never to drink again. Later, he enters a clothing store where an employee notices his good looks. Chu orders all the clothes packed and sent to his house. He thinks he's ready for the class reunion, but still needs a car. As he considers his options, someone calls from behind. A flashy boy wearing multiple chains greets him. It's his classmate. Zhou asks if Chu plans to attend the reunion since Lin Wan personally invited him. Chu confirms it, and Zhou, clearly irritated, says he'll be waiting. Old memories surface. Some students call him disgusting, recalling how others mocked him for being awkward and shy. Back in high school, he was isolated because Zhou spread false rumors about him. Tonight, he intends to turn the tables. A salesperson invites him to look at discounted cars. Chu rejects a small red sports car, asking for something more masculine. He chooses a better model, and as the staff prepare the invoice, they whisper that someone his age must have a rich sponsor. Chu finds it unfair that no one believes he could earn his own money. That night, he drove to the restaurant where he once dined with Xiaoyu. Inside, the place is noisy. Our boy is once again trying to take in the scene. The purple-haired girl is there, and he asks about Lin Wan's whereabouts. She doesn't know, but mentions Zhou's bet that he would arrive in uniform, which means Zhou now owes everyone a week of free meals. Chu is surprised, thinking Zhou must have lost his mind, especially after seeing him buy new clothes. Meanwhile, the bastard stands nearby, gritting his teeth in anger. Tang Zian teases that maybe Zhou didn't believe he could afford them. Chu reminds everyone that Zhou has to pay for all their meals, including his. Zhou reluctantly agrees, saying he'll cover the cost for the week. Everyone cheers, though he's fuming. Meanwhile, Tang Zian thinks Zhou is smart for narrowing down the options and choosing to eat at the school canteen for a week, which is much cheaper. Our boy, on the other hand, doesn't say much, only that Zhou lost the bet. As the night goes on, Zhou announces he's forming a basketball team for the Olympics and invites Chu to join. The boy refuses. The purple-haired girl playfully asks if he's implying he doesn't know how to play. He freezes, unable to respond. Tang Jan steps in, saying they should forget personal issues and focus on winning. Zhou agrees, but doubts Chu's commitment. When asked for his thoughts, Chu smiles, raises a piece of meat, and says everything is perfect, offering it to Tang. She blushes and leans forward to take it, while Zhou looks annoyed. Tang asks again if he'll join the team. Chu agrees, on one condition, that she gives him a kiss. Yes, our boy is one of us. She surprises everyone by offering a French kiss. He tells her to close her eyes, then kisses her gently. The purple-haired girl promises a special reward if he wins the tournament. Their classmates cheer, saying if Tang doesn't invite them to her new relationship, They won't accept her boyfriend. Tang says that's fine, and Chu declares he's the one who's going to win her heart. He then invites everyone to a nearby luxury restaurant for dessert. The crowd erupts in excitement, but Tang's Zian worried whether he could cover the cost, to which our protagonist assures her. Also, he promises not to disappoint her now she is currently his girlfriend. Tang Jian comments that he is a man and wonders how he gets more attention than famous girls. Zhou believes he should be the center of attention of the gathering. All the students head to the restaurant to eat dessert. Tang Zian praises the food, calling it delicious. Zhou notices Ling Wan arriving and asks if she has finished her work. The girl explains that she had something important to handle and couldn't come earlier. Without paying much attention to him, she walks toward Chu Qing. The protagonist finds it rude that she kept him waiting. Ling Wan explains that the company required her to record a video, leaving her with no choice. The young man asks if she is ready for her debut. One of the students mentions that the pianist isn't present today, suggesting that Zhou could play instead. The boy reveals he passed level 6 in piano and says it would be more enjoyable if Ling Wan could also perform a dance. The girl agrees, dedicating her dance to her best friend while extending her hand to Chu Qing. The students observe how happy the protagonist must feel, and the girls decide to help, even though they lack artistic skills. Zhou plays the piano angrily while Lien dances. Boy comments that the kid plays well. Tang Zian asks if he thinks the dance is better. The boy questions if she is jealous, and his girlfriend reminds him that the girl is dancing especially for him, so he must not disappoint her. The pianist watches from a distance, growing angry that the protagonist is ignoring the dance performed in his honor while talking to another girl. He strikes the keys violently and stands up, demanding to know if Chu Qing doesn't understand respect. The protagonist responds that whether he listens or not is his own choice, and he shouldn't jump to conclusions. The pianist insists that the boy should pay attention to Ling Wan instead of him. Chu Qing stands, finishes his wine, and the peach-haired girl smiles and makes a gentle courtesy of thanks. Jukin, already fed up, mocks Chu Qing for being poor and not knowing the proper etiquette for watching a performance. The protagonist criticizes the poor music, declaring that if he ever played like that, he would have cut off his hands. The pianist demands that his classmate kneel and apologize. Chu Qing warns him to say goodbye to his hands. Zhou is shocked as the protagonist whistles, mesmerizing everyone in the room. Some of the girls recognize the melody. The boy with chains feels as though he stands in a field of flowers. The hero remembers that this melody is the true song of the gods, which he obtained in his past life. The classmates whisper that it's the most beautiful song they've ever heard, and that Zhou is screwed. Zhou trembles as Chu Xing's dark shadow emerges. A hand appears before him. Just then, Ling Wan steps up, insisting our boy stops his action. The protagonist asks if she wants him to forgive Zhou. Ling Wan feels uneasy. That's when Tang Zian steps in to mediate, urging her boyfriend to stop scaring the pianist or things may escalate. Our boy realizes that, influenced by the divine music, he lets anger take over and forgot he's no longer in heaven. He picks up a dessert knife and points it at Zhou. In the shadow of several swift movements, the knife cuts the pianist's hair. Zhou panics as he touches his head, startled by a knife falling near him. Chu Qing reminds him that he's no longer the boy who used to be bullied and hopes his classmate remembers that. Zhou asks if he isn't being too harsh. If the roles were reversed, our boy knows Zhou wouldn't let him off, even if he begged, adding that he only kneels before his parents. He then orders Zhou to leave, declaring that he never wants to see him again. After a tense silence, Chu Qing suggests celebrating the departure of an annoying person. The classmates continue the party. Tang comments that her boyfriend grows harder to understand. Chu Qing tells her that soon she will know who he truly is. Later, he drives back home, wondering how he will return smelling like beer. His sister calls him. He says he can't come home that night and asks her to make an excuse for their parents. She refuses, but changes her mind when he offers to pay her. The young man goes to his girlfriend's apartment, expecting her to be awake. To his surprise, the door is already open. Inside, Chu Xing finds a man holding his girlfriend's wrist. The stranger looks older. He asks who the boy is. The protagonist replies that she is his girlfriend and demands to know who the man is. The man reveals himself as her father and asks if the boy can pay her 3 million debt. The pink-haired girl defends herself, saying her father owes and loses the money through gambling. The man insists it doesn't matter since she's his daughter and must pay. She angrily throws her credit card at him, telling him to leave. He says the money isn't enough and demands the rest from her boyfriend. Hua explains that he's a student with no money. This only makes the man confirms his daughter is dating him for wealth, but she argues that he wouldn't even notice her if he were rich. Her father grabs her arm, saying he will find her a rich man regardless of age or background. He adds that she could even sell her body, spending one night with wealthy people to earn the money. The girl bursts into tears and runs into her boyfriend's arms. Chu Xing declares that he will pay the debt if the man promises never to speak to her again. The man raises the price to 5 million. The girl curses her father. Our boy agrees to pay if the man signs a document stating he'll never contact her again. The man refuses but promises to stay away. Chu Xing says whatever he writes will determine his fate, but if he tries selling his daughter again, he won't get the money. Worried, the man agrees to sign the paper and asks for the money. Chu Xing tells him not to rush and prepares to show something. He holds a mug and transforms it into a weapon using magic. The man is shocked to realize the boy can use magic. The object flies from Chu Xing's hand, striking the man's face. The protagonist warns that if the man ever sees Hua again, he will kill him without her knowing. Injured and terrified, the man leaves. The pink-haired girl hugs her boyfriend, crying and promising to pay the 5 million herself. He calls it pocket change. She smiles and they kiss. Morning arrives and they wake together. Hua wakes the protagonist and urges him to get up, saying she has something for him. They eat breakfast in a spotless home. The boy wonders why she's acting so affectionate. She admits it's because she doesn't want to lose him. He tells her she doesn't need to act that way, only to be herself. While she washes dishes, Chu Xing feels soreness in his back. His phone vibrates. A message from Jiayu says the problem is resolved. The young man thanks him for lending 5 million, and he replies that it wasn't a problem. Another message arrives from Tang Xian, asking him to come to the basketball club after class. At school, several students play basketball on the court, and they're really bad at it. To the point Tang Xian is speechless. It's safe to say there is no hope for them. The protagonist approaches, wondering if they're playing basketball or just getting hit. His girlfriend replies that they can't compare to girls. Changing topic, she reminds him of the new medicinal formula he mentioned. Chu Xing shows her a paper containing the formula that enhances magic for mages. Tang Xian takes the paper, asking if he trusts her and isn't afraid of being cheated. The young man says money doesn't matter. He just wants to help his friend. Touched by his sincerity, Tang Xian confesses that she truly loves him now. The protagonist asks if she didn't like him before. She admits that before it was only interest, then suddenly pulls him closer and kisses him. He notices a basketball flying toward them and catches it effortlessly. Zhou, watching the scene, looks displeased. Chu Xing spins the basketball on his finger and says that because of Tang Xian, she has a fan club that dislikes seeing them together. Furious, she orders the players to run 50 laps around the court as punishment. That night, the hero rests at home when his mother enters his room. She sits on his bed and asks if he likes any girl. Chu Xing admits he does and wonders why she's asking. His mother gives a lengthy speech, but she suspects the person is from an influential family and says she doesn't mind him growing close to someone he truly loves. She explains that he recently met his second aunt and mentions their large family with 7 or 8 members. Their grandmother married 5 men and had many children, forming a strict household. She also reveals that Chu Xing's second aunt recently had an accident, delaying their family's plans. The young man asks if that truly happened. The woman admits she feels helpless and unable to protect her son. The boy asks if they can at least stay on friendly terms, but she replies, asking if his plan is to marry Yi Chinsi or if Chu knows about the National University. The boy confirms that he does. It's the #1 university in the country and one of the strongest forces in the empire. His mother advises that if he wants to avoid the marriage, he must enter the National University. That way, even their family won't dare interfere with his future. Later, the protagonist meditates. He knows the National University holds great influence, having provided countless resources to the empire. He wants to uncover the hidden secrets of this world. The cultivation levels here are equal to those of the fairy world. Using magic, he crafts another amulet shaped like a small sword. There are 5 eternal cultivation domains: Foundation Building, Danjing, Yuan-ing, Infant Transformation, and Mahayana, the highest level. The boy has cultivated for 300 years. After reaching Mahayana and ascending, he expected to enter the realm of eternity, but instead ended up in this strange world. Channeling his power, Chu Qing transforms the small sword amulet into a large golden sword. He senses invisible changes in the weapon and realizes he has entered the path of Rong Dao Yun. If the rust on the sword doesn't vanish, the consequences will be dire. He must find the pot quickly and hide it before anyone else discovers it. Suddenly, Jiayu calls. The man sounds angry because the auction is about to begin and his friend hasn't arrived. Our boy realizes what happened. He received the guy's messages earlier but read them while half asleep and turned off his phone before napping. Chu Qing hurries to the auction, searching for spiritual material suitable for his sword sheath. Inside the Shenzhen auction house, Yu chats with a woman in a red dress. Before leaving, she gives him a gentle pat on his behind, and he looks flustered. The protagonist notices that the Zhai family wants to introduce him to famous women. Some women at the venue whisper about Chu Qing's worn-out appearance, and one deliberately bumps into him. A passing couple mocks him, saying this place isn't for poor people and telling him to look at himself. Chu Qing calmly replies with a jab. The property belongs to the Zhai family, and the woman has embarrassed herself. Angered, the woman threatens to hit him. Before she can strike, the brown-haired man blocks her blow. Next, he issues a chilling threat and twists her arm, breaking it. Her husband shouts for security, but another man steps in, declaring that Chu Qing is like a brother to him, and insulting him is the same as insulting himself. It's Jiayu who steps forward, banning the couple from ever entering the auction house again. They quickly apologize before being escorted out. Jiayu then asks if Chu Qing's mother belongs to the Chu imperial family. He confirms it. The white-haired boy mentions Chu Qing's aunt, who lost her leg and kidney. Someone from the Chu family in the imperial capital tried to buy that information, but Jiayu blocked them. When Chu Qing asks if his friend knows who caused the tragedy, he replies that they couldn't identify which family was responsible. The protagonist worries deeply, aware of the imperial family's complicated state. 2 women soon enter the hall and greet Chu Qing, his aunt and Yi Chenxi. His aunt reminds him about the upcoming university exam and urges him to study hard. Noticing her concern, he assures her everything will be fine. Chenxi asks her mother to go ahead because she wants to speak privately with Chu Qing. Moments later, she throws herself into his arms. Jiayu interrupts, reminding them the auction is about to start. Chu Qing tells him not to take his aunt's words too seriously, but the white-haired man teases that the family head already considers him her favorite son-in-law candidate. Chu Qing asks if there's anything special about the auction area. Jiayu explains that he and Miss Yi Chenxi will head to the private room to provide more details. Inside, Chenxi asks if the spiritual stone Chu Qing wanted has appeared. He confirms there are 5 of them. He offers his girlfriend a bottle of milk tea, but she questions why he isn't drinking wine. The boy recalls that women in this world enjoy strong drinks. Yi Chenxi says she'll stop drinking if he dislikes it, then pulls him close, suggesting they drink together instead. Chu Qing senses she wants something from him. Yi Chenxi shyly reveals she bought the provocative clothes he mentioned. On a side note, our boy merely thought about it before, but somehow Yi Chenxi read his mind. Suddenly, she mounts him. Poor guy is trapped with no way to escape. And damn, he finds Yi Chenxi incredibly attractive. He's a man. After all, and he can't withstand the temptation any longer. So he takes the initiative and kisses her first. Just as things were getting interesting, Jiayu enters the room and freezes at the sight. He quickly closes the door, apologizing for interrupting. Yi Chenxi suggests they forget the interruption and pick up where they left off, but our boy immediately shuts down the idea, saying the auction is about to start. Naturally, she asks why he suddenly seems embarrassed. At this point, he's clearly annoyed. If it weren't for Jiayu spying on them, he swears he would have made her call him daddy. Outside, Jiayu had been secretly spying on them. He then entered the room, offering an awkward apology for interrupting their moment. Chu Qing studies the list of auction items, but finds nothing suitable for enhancing his sword. Jiayu mentions a fragment of meteor metal, hundreds of kilograms of it, enough to forge magical weapons. Chu Qing jokes that it could make an energy-efficient, pollution-free cooking pot, causing Yi Chenxi to laugh. Jiayu shakes his head, saying Chu's standards are too high, then leaves. The white-haired man shows another item to Yi Chenxi, a legendary wine, Qiongya, said to boost a warrior's strength. Chu Qing asks if she wants it, but she declines, saying it would be too hard to protect. Then, he notices something. He points at the bronze jar containing the wine. It matches the material of the golden god he has been searching for. If you made it this far and feel the video is worth it, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Until the next recap.